Today we're going to make a Hexie wreath ornament. Let's get started. Okay, let's run down the supplies needed for our Hexie Christmas wreath ornament. I am using the edge joining foot to help me get my pieces lined up together. I'm also using a iron-on English paper piecing templates. These will temporarily fuse to my fabric to help aid me in getting them all put together. I've got some thread that coordinates with my fabrics, and then I need some 12 scraps of fabric that are about 2.5 to 3 inches square. Don't have to be exact measurements, but we do need it to be bigger than our little template. So let's get started. Okay, let's get started with fusing our pieces. So to help things just fold over a little bit easier, I'm going to give just a little bit of a squirt. I'm using our Magic quilt spray. I like it because it presses up a little bit stiffer. So that's a good thing for this little project. Almost. And I'm just going to repeat this process for all 12 of my Hexies. We're going to need 6 for the front and 6 for the back. Give it one final little press. And there we go. So we're going to repeat these and get ourselves all organized. Okay, now that I have all of my little pieces fused, nice little covered Hexie shapes, we're going to arrange them. So you just want to put them in whatever order you want. No right or wrong here. We're just going to make each of our sides line up. I think that's pretty good. So now I'm going to stitch these together. I'm going to use my edge joining foot with the joining piece right here in the seam, and I'm going to use a stitch that's going to cross into both sides and will join everything together. I'm using matching thread in my top and my bottom, so I'm just going to get my machine threaded up here. You could use monofilament thread if you wanted. I kind of like the little bit of decorative red with my stitching. You could also hand join these as you would traditional English paper piecing if you chose to do that. I enjoy English paper piecing. I keep it as a hand project sitting in doctor's offices or car trips. But for this, I want it a little bit quicker. And my foot. Okay. For my stitches, I did some test sewing a little bit earlier. So I have decided I'm going to use stitch number 3-18. And I've got my tension, my length, and my width. So I am on the chorus. So I'm going to go find my stitch, this one right here. So 318, I figured out I needed to lower my tension just a smidge bit, and then I made adjustments to my length and my width. I would advise you to just play around and see what you like on your machine to get it set up how you like it. And here we go. Oh, not quite to the needle. And I've just got my pieces butted one against the other. and my stitch is just barely wide enough to catch both edges. The center of my stitch is stitching right in the seam where the two pieces, the two hexies join. So we'll cut that one, add the next. We're just going to go all the way around. You're going to do a set of 6 for the front and then another set of 6 for the back. When I did the back 6, I did all the same fabric. I'm using leftover scraps from last year's Christmas mystery quilt. Didn't have a terrible amount of fabric left over from that, but I had just enough to do something fun with this project. It's peppermint bark. It's a Moda collection from Basic Gray. Okay, now that we have all of our pieces joined, I'm going to join my front and my back together. I'm going to tuck a bit of ribbon in here to use as a hanger. And I'm just going to match my pieces up one on top of the other. Use a couple clips. And then we're going to sew around. When I sew them together, I'm going to join it with a blanket stitch. Using some clips to hold it in place. And let's go back to the machine and get switched over to our blanket stitch. Here I made some more notes. I'm going to use stitch 2-03. I have adjusted my width, length. My tension is my default, but you can see I did make some changes with my test sewing. Width, length. My tension's my default. I'm going to switch to my J-foot. We're just going to sew all the way around the edge with my blanket stitch. I'm just catching the outside edge, and then it skips across to the left, and hold all of my pieces together. Love the pivot function on the machine, raises my presser foot for me so I can keep my hands on my project. Got it all sewn together. I went around the outside with my blanket stitch, did around the inside. I've got my little ribbon caught in the middle. Get your strings trimmed up and you should be ready to hang your ornament.